Okay, this week we're back with Audi again. In a previous video I did say, I've put a new front bumper on the car. We've got a new front bumper, so we're going to get rid of this little bit of damage that's left down here and put a nicer bumper on. It still doesn't quite clip on right, so what we'll do is we'll start taking this bumper off, we'll put a new bumper on and we'll put it back together, and hopefully that'll be the front end with a nice facelift, ready to go back on the road.
So having done this before, when we first rebuilt the car, we determined that the best way to do it this time was to start by taking the headlights back out. Once again, 3 Torx screws on each side and 1 plug on each side removes the headlights, and that allows us access down to the 2 10mm nuts on the L-shaped part of the side of the bumper. Ryan also removes a couple of small Torx screws on each arch lining, and we already removed the screws to the under tray prior to the video. This was much easier than removing the complete arch lining, and also helps us when we're putting it back together, as if we line the bumper up to the wings and bonnet, it then allows us to put the headlights back in last and line them up to everything at once rather than chasing it round in circles. With the car up in the air, it allows us better access to the arch lining screws I mentioned before by just turning the steering. There's then a few Torx screws along the top of the bumper holding it to the slam panel, and the bumper then starts to become free to be removed from the car for hopefully the last time.
So the new bumper didn't come with fog lights, so one of the things that it would do, if we disconnect the fog lights, it'll leave a warning light in the car. So it does come with these things here that cancel out any error codes. So we'll fit them just now and then we'll put a new bumper on.
These small devices just appear to be resistors, and I think all we do is give a resistance similar to what the original lights would have been in order to prevent the ECU in the car detecting an open circuit, and as such not putting an annoying warning light up on the dash, which would also be an MOT fail. We simply plug into the existing wiring, and I just cable tie them out of the way onto the subframe supports. And now it's on with a brand new TTRS style bumper, fresh back from Car and Bike Paint Shop. This is a replica bumper from HZ Dynamics off eBay, but it does appear to be decent quality, and the fitment, although not 100% perfect, I can get it to line up more than satisfactory by just playing with the adjustment for long enough until I'm relatively happy with it. I think this gives the car a much better look and will complement my overall plans for the car later, where we'll be adding much more to it as we go along. I want to make it more aggressive looking and sounding, then we'll do some performance upgrades later on also, but for now the front end is a good start. The bumper actually goes on quite nicely in the exact reverse of how the old one came off. Let me tell you though, look at the weather just now. We actually had snow last week and it's still a typical wet, cold Scottish winter day. I love working on cars, but sometimes I do think it would be nicer if I had a bigger garage, but that might come in the future. Anybody passing by must think we're mad at this point. Also, once again, if you've watched this far into the video, please do me a massive favour if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button, smash the thumbs up button. I'm trying to get subscriber numbers up and really appreciate your support. Then once we were happy with the bumper alignment, it was back onto the headlights again. And as you can see, it does appear to be much easier lining up the headlight in the hole once the bumper is all in place. It still does take a fair bit of time, probably a good 20 minutes each side, loosening, tightening, then closing and reopening the bonnet and repeating until we got it all lined up right. But the end result is worth it, and the headlights are absolutely spot on once they're done. And now that I'm looking back at the video here, I really do think the shaped number plates really complement the front of the car, especially with the honeycomb grille, and it makes a big difference over the standard plates. Last bit of the bumper is fitting the washer jet blanks. There isn't any clips on these and they just push in. However, we just tiger seal them in place and put some masking tape over it to hold it until the glue dries. And I really don't know who Ryan's trying to shoot at this point, but it seemed quite funny.
That's it, that's the front bumper changed. Get it off the jacks now, we'll see how it looks out on the ground. Obviously the tiger seal needs to dry before we can take the tape back off. And that's the car had a facelift. Next, after this, in the next video, we'll do the back end.
Also, while it was up on the stands, we took the opportunity to give the car a quick oil and filter change. We drained the oil and refitted the sump plug whilst it was raised, and then lowered it flat to add the correct amount of oil. Thankfully this car has a good old fashioned dipstick, so you can check the oil manually to ensure you get the level right every time. Once the oil and filter was changed and up to the correct level, I turned the car over a couple of times to circulate the oil before starting. I'll recheck the oil level again later just to ensure it's still correct.
So that's the TTRS bumper fitted. I think it actually looks quite well. It's a replica bumper, so it's not always got to be the 100% best fit. It'll look better once the tape's off it. Doesn't look too out of place. Actually makes the car look a lot better at the front. I'm still not sure whether I want the Audi badge on or not. I think it's maybe a bit plain without it, but we'll see. And that's all for today's video. So if you liked this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video where we do the same to the rear end.